We've been working on OBS Bryce's truck for months now, and honestly, it's time we get this thing done, which is the goal for the next 2 videos, to get this thing completely done, get it on Bryce's trailer so we can get it back home, and so we can get this 4-link kit on our website, which was the goal of this truck all along, to be able to develop a 4-link kit for the OBS trucks. Our goal is to have something for every guy, for every OBS truck, and this is definitely something that needs to be on the website. Now, we've been struggling a lot to get this thing done. We are short-staffed here at the shop. We're hoping to add someone to the team, but for now, we've been trying to do everything we can to stay on top of all the projects that we have going on. For now, my goal is to get this truck done and out of the shop because, one, we have a whole bunch of new projects that we want to work, a whole bunch of new products that we want to bring to the market, obviously including this 4-link kit. We're actually working on the second version of it on this truck behind me, and we're just super excited. A huge thanks for coming back, by the way. We really appreciate you. Let's go over this truck so we can kind of get a refresher of what this build is. This is, like I've been saying, my buddy OBS Bryce's Ford OBS F350 crew cab long bed that he's done a lot of really cool custom touches, which, by the way, you can pretty much see everything that he's done on both his Instagram and his YouTube channel that will be linked down below. So right away, we've got the Chevy tow mirrors, which I know they're not everybody's cup of tea, but they're on there. He also has these Super Duty badges that are built into the fender. These are basically like the body right before they went to the aluminum body Super Duty. So that's what that is. On the front, we've got these super nice Alpha Rex headlights. I mean, I love those things, and I really want to have a set of those on one of our builds. This thing probably gets the most questions. This is a custom grill that Bryce designs and builds himself. So if you're interested in one of these, hit him up. We've done a full walk around of this truck. There's a whole bunch more custom work that he's done, especially to the interior. So check out that video. We'll have it linked somewhere over here. So now let's jump into all the work that actually has been done here at the shop, which is pretty much everything from the frame down. It's a little dusty, so I'm sorry, but I kind of want to talk about everything that we've done. We've touched pretty much everything on the suspension of this truck, and I'm really proud of the way that everything's turning out. So we've got DOM steering pretty much the whole way. We've got these I-steer knuckles that Bryce welded onto this thing, and then we built DOM steering with Heim joints all the way over to this double shear pitman arm. Now, I'm really proud of this thing. This is a really cool piece. And this is not just for looks. Got Heim steering on this thing with the through bolt on it. And whenever you're doing this, the problem that you can run into with this setup, if you don't have a double shear pitman arm, is that over years and years and thousands of going left and right, especially with huge wheels and tires, is that over time you're gonna wallow out this hole right here. Since it doesn't have that taper fitting anymore, it's just a through bolt. You're eventually going to hollow it out, and you can end up either breaking the whole pitman arm right here, or it's just going to be really sloppy, and you're going to have to replace your pitman arm. And hopefully you get to that point before you break your steering. So what this does is that it gives it a second attachment point that double shears it. So now it's going to be steering as a unit left and right, and should really minimize the potential for this thing to hollow out or break. This thing it's a unit of a pitman arm. It is completely boxed in. It's not ideal to weld, to cast. We do all the proper procedures to weld into this thing. So we preheat it, we cool it down over time. So again, very solid. Now, again, it's a little dusty. We've got a truss on the axle, which, by the way, these are 08 axles. Obviously, you know, 05 plus axle, the world. We've built and installed this truss on the axle that also serves as the axle side track bar mounting point. This version right now is weld on. For the time being, this is going to be the only option that we have. We do plan on eventually having a bolt-on option, but it's welded on all the way through the tube. And I know that if I send this and made you guys weld it, it would be more of a pain than it needs to be. So what we did is we've got this plate welded to the truss, and then I don't know if you'll be able to see, but we've got a bolt in there. So what we did is we drilled and tapped a 1/2-inch hole for this thing, and that's just so that it looks finished, because if this wasn't on there, it was obviously going to be floating and it wouldn't look right. So we went ahead and did that, and that works out perfectly. This you've got actually quite a bit of meat, a little bit over 1/2 inch, so this is not going anywhere. We kind of took inspiration from our cross member for that pattern, so that's where that came from. On the frame side, got our own custom track bar bracket This thing is pure beef, guys. So we've got 3/8 plates right here for the main body of the bracket, and then it mounts to all existing holes on your frame. So these two will already be on your frame, same as the two on the cross member. Moving further up on this truck, we've got 8-inch coils with our current coil buckets, and then we also, as you can see, painted this frame, which we used Rust-Oleum professional paint on this thing, and I absolutely love it. To date is the best paint that I've used. Highly recommend it. So that's the axle side of things. All DOM steering, DOM track bar, pure beef. Now this is what you guys are here for, the 4-link cradle. It's a parallel 4-link. Obviously the easiest way to do a 4-link on one of these trucks, especially because we don't have like a crazy amount of lift, is doing parallel 4-link with the track bar. And this is a great setup for any truck that has, I would say, higher than 6 inches of lift. 4-link is definitely the way to go. It's gonna give you the best riding characteristics out of, you know, anything else. It's, in my opinion, way better than drop radius arm brackets. I hate radius arm brackets. I don't recommend them at all, which is why we don't sell any on our website. But anything higher than an 8-inch lift, 4-link is definitely the way to go. And it actually allows for your suspension and everything to flex a little bit easier than a radius arm setup. Now, currently, when this gets released, the first version is gonna be basically for these trucks, crew cab, and then 4-link air ride on the rear. We are eventually gonna have this set up for the extended cabs and the single cabs. And then instead of 4-link in the rear, we're gonna have traction bars. When this gets released, this is basically gonna be the only option that we're gonna have, which is a really cool option. We got to mention Heim joints all the way around on this setup. The ones that we sell, it's gonna have a Johnny joint because we really like Johnny joints. If you guys want Heims, it's something that we can definitely do. So on the rear, we've got a lot going on too. So this thing obviously also got a truss, which serves quite a few purposes. One, it is our bag mount, and it's also our axle slide track bar mount. And again, DOM tube, Heim joint, big 7/8 bolts on this thing, and it's, again, super beefy. That's always the goal. Now this thing's gonna get, same with the cradle, it's gonna be getting overlays on it just so that it looks and pops a little bit more. And then for the frame side, we've got this super nice, super beefy cross member, serves as the back mount, and the frame side track bar mount, or track bar bracket, whatever you want to call it. Track bar mount, I think, is more appropriate. So the way that we made this cross member is that bolts to the side of the frame, but it also comes down and wraps under the frame to give this thing a lot more support. Your bags, they're gonna mount in there like that. You've got your airline fitting. We try to kind of keep it all tucked in and as clean as we could, so that's why we went with this design. And yes, there's more than enough room to get your tools in there to tie in those bolts, those fittings, everything, because obviously we've got it done right here. Big boys right here, some Firestone bags that we've got on this thing. More than enough for what this thing's gonna be. So as you see it right now, it's kind of hard to tell because we obviously don't have the bed, but it still will, I guess, squat a couple more inches, and then it'll go a couple inches past level, which once we throw the bed back onto this truck, we'll show you the suspension obviously going through its full range of motion, which is, it's super fun to play with. I've already been here just going up and down with it because it's super fun. I have loved working on this truck. It has taught me so much. I've never built a setup like this, air, 4-link, all that stuff, and let me tell you guys, it's been long nights of research, of designing, of testing, of finding things that we had to do differently. But we're finally at this point, which now all that we have left to do is, well, for one, we gotta nut and bolt everything. There's a couple of bolts that are too long like this that we gotta cut down, and just kind of make sure that everything's good. We gotta go ahead, hook up the brakes, run the brake lines, all that stuff. Same for the front, throw the bed back on this thing. And then the very last thing that we're gonna do, because I know myself and I don't wanna scratch anything, is gonna be put on the overlays. And at that point, this truck's gonna be fully done. So my goal is to have this truck and this truck done at the same time so that we can show off both versions of the 4-link. This is gonna be essentially the long arm 4-link kit just for the front. I think that this is going to be a lot more popular than this, if I would have to guess, but we'll see. Hopefully this one is, because this one is a little bit harder to build and ship, and everything. You know, as long as you guys enjoy them, and you know, if you at least buy one of these, that would be awesome. Because like I've said, we've put so much time and effort into developing this kit and making it the best that it can be. So definitely super excited to have this thing fully done. We're actually going to be throwing the wheels and tires in the rear of this thing because we need those axle stands to move this axle under this truck so we can mock up the 4-link, weld it up, because that's the last thing that we got to do is actually the bars on this thing, so we can send this entire kit over to powder coat. Once the bed and the wheels are back on this truck, I know that it looks all torn apart and misshuffled, but it's really not that bad. It's only a few things that we got to finish up, and this thing's going to be out of the shop. And one of the things that I am most excited about finishing this truck is that we'll be able to bring one of my personal builds back into the shop and start working on it, because I don't know about you guys, but I miss working on my own trucks. It's time that we work on one of my trucks again. Hopefully it's the white crew cab, because I really want to get that thing back on the road. Okay guys, I am very excited to show you the truck because, well, it's looking like a truck again. We went ahead, threw the bed back on this thing, and boy, oh boy, oh, also obviously we threw the wheels on. Man, this thing is an absolute beast of a truck. Man, I can't explain just how excited I am to see the truck back together as a whole, as a truck. Man, it's looking beastly. Man, I love it. And as you can see, obviously we have the air just plumbed temporarily, but I do have it hooked up to where we can play with it, go up and down. It's so much fun, guys. Definitely can't wait to do more air ride setups on these trucks because it is so freaking cool. It's been a lot of work, but man, seeing the truck back together like this is freaking awesome. One thing that I do want to talk about, because like I said, we put the bed back on this truck. We hooked up Bryce with some of these Super Duty bed bolts. And man, these, in my opinion, are a great upgrade if you're ever gonna be taking off your bed. Well, first of all, if you've ever taken off the bed of an OBS, you'll know that it can be a pain in the butt removing these bolts removing the bed bolts. They always want to strip. You gotta get under the bed, find the nuts, take them off. If the bolt spins in the bed, because it's held in the bed. But at this point, they're all rusted in there. I mean, even trucks from here from Arizona, I've had a hard time taking these bed bolts out. So what's cool about these is that this clip goes on your frame, which has a captured nut. And that's it. You just slip this right over the holes in the frame for the bed bolt, and that's it. And then from the top, you'll have your bolt that has a hex and Allen on the head of it, and you just remove it from the top like a Super Duty does, which in my opinion is a way better setup than what the OBS trucks had. So of course we went ahead, set that up on there for him. You do want to put a lot of NSCs on these things just to be sure that these, you know, don't get stuck on there. So definitely put a decent amount of NICs on there before you put them on, tying them down, and you're good to go. Next time you got to take off the bed, it'll be, trust me, much easier than having to deal with those bed bolts. I'm gonna do that today to any truck that we take off the bed from. We're gonna replace them with those bed bolts. Anyways, I'm just excited, guys. Man, this is one of the coolest things that I've ever done, and it's super cool. We got another one right there. But man, I love it. I freaking love it, guys. I'm not the tallest guy around. I'm 5'11", but like it's over my shoulder. It's about my nose height on this thing, and it's awesome, guys. I'm so excited to get this thing fully finished. We've got a couple little details that we gotta finish, like I said earlier. Mainly, we gotta get the brakes all hooked back up. It's still on jack stands just because it does air out. But now we can actually tell exactly where level is, and I can measure for the drive shaft to see if we're gonna need a new one, which we likely will. Definitely for the front, and just little details like that. But for the most part, this truck is pretty much ready, and I'm just so excited. It's super cool that we were able to do this. Now we're gonna have, you know, stuff that we can ship out to you guys. Like this truck, we already have the 4-link, kind of tested everything, making sure that everything's gonna be where I like it, that it'll be able to get, you know, the caster and everything set up the way we like, all that, and it's looking good. I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek. Actually, never mind. No sneak peeks. But again, we're gonna obviously do a video on this here soon, but it's so cool being able to do this. And after seeing this kit on this truck, I think I definitely want to try it out on my truck, at least for a little bit. I actually have a couple design changes that I think some of you guys are gonna like, that we're gonna try out on my truck. I hope you guys are liking these kits. We're getting a lot of interest, a lot of questions about it. We are highly considering now at this point opening them up for pre-orders. So let me know if you guys are interested in it, and we'll maybe set up a pre-order for these things. Just a huge thank you for the support. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to leave a like, leave any comments that you might have down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you for the next one.